All right, number 4. This one we have a system of inequalities with absolute values. In this problem, we can save ourselves a little work. If you notice, the 7x plus 2 is exactly the same as the 7y plus 2 as far as the numbers. And then the inequality sign, less than or equal to 46, same thing, less than or equal to 46. So these equations are pretty much identical, except one with x, one with y. And noticing that, we will solve the x only, and then whatever answer we get, we will do the same thing for y. So whenever you have inequality, you have to solve the equation twice. So that is 7x plus 2 is going to be less than or equal to 46. So you just drop the absolute value and you leave everything signed the same. All right, and then on the other side, because absolute value means you can have a negative or a positive, on the other side we're going to do 7x plus 2, and then we're going to have it equal to a negative 46. So you change the sign. That's what you do. Now, since we changed this sign, we also have to change the inequality sign, so it gets flipped. So it's going to be greater than or equal to. Whenever you change negative, that sign gets flipped. All right, and then we're going to solve for x. And so what I was mentioning is we would do the same thing for y, but instead of doing this expression twice for y, whatever answer we get, we'll just write y equals that, or y is greater than or less than that, just to save a little bit of writing. All right, so we're going to subtract 2. Subtract 2. All right, 2 will go away on both sides. All right, bring down 7x, bring down less than or equal to, this will be 44. Bring down over here 7x, bring down the greater than or equal to, and negative will add to be negative 48. So be careful, this is not negative times a negative, we are adding and subtracting, so you have to add those together. All right, now we divide by 7. Divide by 7, and we get x. We get x is less than or equal to, this is going to be a roughly 6.3 if you estimate. It's okay. We just need a number to put on the graph. Over here we're going to divide by 7, and we get x is greater than or equal to, and this is going to be roughly a negative 6.9 approximate. So these two numbers, we would get the exact same values for y. Okay, so we'd have a y less than or equal to 6.3, and a y is greater than or equal to 6.9. So this is our system that we're going to be using to graph these lines. So what I'm going to do first is draw an x and y axis. I'm just going to approximate. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so it's close to 7 in each one, but a little bit more than 6. So the positive x is going to be here, straight line up. This is x equals 6.3. And then over here, the negative 7 is almost right on top of it. That's the negative 6.9. X equals negative 6.9. Alrighty, and then in the y direction, positive 6.3, 1, 2, 6 will be up here, and it's going to extend all the way across. Going that way, not that way. So this is y equals 6.3, that's a positive, and then the negative one, I can get it all on there, the negative one, that's the negative 7, so almost right on top of that line. And this is, now this is the x-axis, this is the y, we can't confuse those. This is y equals negative 6.9. Okay, so the way this shading works is the positive says x is going to the left. We want less than that, so we're going to be shading this direction all the way across. And then it says or, that or that we saw is important, or we want to be less than that. So we don't go past that line, we also want to go from this line back all the way across. So we're going to get everything in between those two lines. It actually goes up here too, all the way up and down between those two lines. And then with the y value, we want less than 6.3. So going down. And then or we want greater than 6.9. So between these lines would also get this outside here, like it goes past, it's just all the way between these two lines. So all the way across between these two lines, I'm getting everything there. And so the shape that is really hard to see, what you would get graphically, okay, we're getting an image like this, kind of hard to see between those numbers. So we're shading everything here between those y values, and we're shading everything here between those two x values. So we're getting an image like that with solid lines. So that's the one that we want to pick with our graph. Now if it said and would only focus on the middle. That or means you want all the way, so you're going to miss those corners. You're just missing those corners. And it's going to be a square, or get you this little pattern. So the graph that matches, so you can see anything with dotted lines, we would throw that out. That's not going to work. That doesn't have 4 lines. This looks close. I'd have to count the 6s and 7s. That one looks really close. Dotted lines, that doesn't work. This one looks close as well. Okay, it's hard to see the shading, but it's light shading here. So you see how this one has shading on the outside. It's really hard to see that. I see the shading now. I didn't see it at first. So yeah, none of these will work. This one actually has the shading in between, and that's lighter. Ooh, they need to change the shading. Or maybe it's just my angle that I'm looking at this. Yeah, so this picture is going to be the one that looks the best.